knows it's time to begin. So are you ready?
Yes.
All right. In our country, about 100 years ago or so, we had men that were strange-looking warriors that came to our country. Not like unto common to your strange warriors too today. They came to Palau from another place called Yap. We were laughing and kind of thinking they were strange, but we didn't understand them at first. But you see, their chief had sent them to Palau because in his country, he was very frustrated and very upset with his own tribes because, you see, they were stealing their money. And it was hard to keep track of real wealth. There they used little beads, or what looked like beads were actually seashells, like these gold rate calorie and the money calorie. Because they were so small, you could easily steal them, and it just frustrated the chief because nobody was being honest. And he's out looking at the moon and calling to his warriors, said, "Fellas, we've got to do something." Fellas, say. When the chief talks, you say, "Oh, oi."
Oh, oi.
Always means yes. Oh, oi.
Oh, oi.
Oh, oi. Never say yak. Oh, oi. Okay, oh, oi. So the chief was concerned. He said, "We've got to make something where we can have our money that can't be stolen."
Oh, oi.
Good. I love the moon. The moon is big and round, something that we could all share. And, so what I want you to do is I want you to go out and find something that you can use for money. So here's what I want you to do. Mr. Builder, by the way, you can tell he's a warrior because he's earned his teeth, right? He's gone out and gotten the wild boar and killed that there, right? So he's come over, his chief is about to send him away, and I say, "Mr. Builder, take your axe, hold it up. And I want you to go fell a tree, cut it down, and make some canoes. Plenty big, to hold plenty of warriors, okay? All right. And make up plenty of weapons to go with you too. And maybe even that little, horn. So that you can take it with you and keep each other in close contact when you're on the ocean, okay? And you make sure you take your spear. That's an awful big spear. Oh, yeah. You take that with you, because you're going to have to get fish. You swim down 20, 30 feet under the water. Come under the fish, you catch them. Big one. You're looking a little skinny. Okay? All right. Good. So you go, and if you see no big ones, you get little ones with your neck, okay? And you go with him, and you go and find something to use for money, and you bring it back to us. All right? So they go. They leave, they come to our country of Palau, and see, they had only sand and a little bit of clay, kind of small islands like that. But when they came to Palau, they got excited. Because here we have mountains, and we have rock islands. And somebody said, "We could do something here." And so they started looking around, and they started digging and carving until they started making stone money. Palau is the home where stone money was made. Now this is just one of the smallest pieces that they used to carve up. Is actual stone out of the rock islands and out of the mountains of Palau. But this one's only worth $72, according to the Bank of Hawaii. They get to be 10 and 12 feet tall, 3 foot thick, weighing 3 and 4 tons. That's why you need plenty of warriors. And so they got these, they put them together. Mind you, they had come 600 miles over the open ocean in canoes, over the dreaded waves and all the typhoons that come through the air. They had arrived there, they got this, now they have to drag these heavy stones on rafts behind their canoes, and they only have the oars and the sails to bring it back. 600 miles again, fighting all the weather and the waves, and many times they would lose some of their warriors. But in the journey and the collecting of this money, they became very, very famous in their own place. They gathered great stories that they could tell. And they came back to their chief, and when he saw the stone money, from the small to the big, he was very proud of them. Very good, warriors. You did good. Way to go. Now, he says, I will let you get married. Now, okay, Pastor, it's always the chief that gets the big money. Okay? So, if you're not chief yet, this would be like the becoming of chief ceremony. Giving you the stone money, okay? And so, the thing is, though, it's used for buying a wife or land for something. But you're already married, so you can't do that, okay? And this is the old traditions, too, by the way. But along with this, we have a ceremonial plaque that goes with it that says, thank you. It says, thank you for your internal investment. Matthew 6, 19 through 21. Let me show you here what it is. Matthew 6, 19 through 21 says that when you put your investments in heaven, moth and rust cannot corrupt, and thieves cannot break through and steal. And when you invest in the lives of men and women who want to start churches, bring people to the Lord, that's an eternal investment that nothing can steal from you. Amen. God bless you, sir. Give him a hand, everybody. Behind every godly pastor is a wife that takes care of him when he's sick, loves on him for good and for bad, for all that. But she knows more of what goes on than anybody else, and she prays for him all the time. All right? And so because of that, we brought you back a gift too. A gift that is symbolic of what our ladies do a lot of as well. No, it's not the axe. You can't get that. No. Watch it back there, Pastor. But this is something that is used in our country, made out of the leaves of the trees and the grasses into a journal. We use it as a prayer journal to write down your prayer requests and God hearing and answering. I give this with one favor to ask. Keep our picture on the front page. Will you do that? Thank you so much. Give her a hand too, would you folks? Well, I've told you about the builder, and I've told you about the fisherman. You see there's another gentleman here, right? He's the one carrying the ceremonial stone money. The circle with the cross in the middle of it is a symbol that they use in their storyboards to symbolize money. And it's all over the buys, all over the community centers and visitors authority place. Everywhere you look, you find these little circles, just like the Lord is holding. And because the chief is such a great man in leading the people that they look up to, he's the one that will look over your needs as a shepherd would, but we call it a fisherman chief. And he will also feed the people. So traditionally, there is one other gift that's given with every ceremony. I'm going to ask him to come forward with the gift, please, sir. Now, don't get to painting yet, okay? Let me take this. Hold this, please, sir. Oh. It's a piece of raw fish that you don't have to eat if you would prefer to choose a substitute. He says he'd be more than glad to stand in. He told me just this morning. Now, if you eat the eyeball, it means you're going to look out for them. If you eat the meat, it means you will feed them the Word of God, the meat of the Word. So you choose who you would like to have this if you don't want to do it. As you are now the new chief. You're the under shepherd, under chief, though. Jesus is the high chief.
Yes.
Yes. Same in our country.
When did this fish die?
I can't answer that. There's no sauce. No, we just like it raw. I can't eat before you, but if you will eat, I will eat. Otherwise, you can give to someone else to eat. Oi! Oi! Get him in, everybody! All right, I just have fun a little bit with this ceremony, but what we want to do is we want to give you a little taste of the culture, the history of Palau, Yap, and the country over there. And it is a thank you, a real thank you, something that is, our folks just appreciate what you guys have done. And we want to say we love you and keep serving the Lord here as we do it over there. Okay?
Thank you very much.
All right, give all your warriors a hand too, would you please? My wife's going to tell us a little bit about her attire at this time.
I'm all dressed up in island formal. If you went to Palau today,